Why are you muted?
I am still muted. Hello and
I
hello
don't
and
know
hello.
why, but okay.
Who knows? But you know what? It's fine. My name is Lana. Oh, welcome to the Cup. The Currently Unnamed Podcast, where you can always come here first to quench your reality thirst, and where we put the tea in reality. And now I'm your girl Lana, here to give the tea. Your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea per. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. And today I'm just drinking orange sun kiss because caffeination is what I need right now because as you all can see, I'm a bit off. But it's
Mm,
okay. I'm gonna get myself balanced and get back into this thing
yes.
because that's what I do. And also, another thing I forgot to say was, welcome to the cup refill because this is the cup refill, where the tea from where the reality of
Reality.
the past becomes the tea of today. Oh, I remember. I just had
We'll
to
get it. It's
my
one of those days.
I'm telling you, I'm off today. I'm a little off, but you know what I mean. This is the cup refill. The reality of the past becomes the tea of today, and yeah, that's what it is, and that's what's happening because we're doing Project Runway, and it's Make It Work Monday. Woo woo!
Mm. And I'm Logan Murphy to say something gay. Gay, we are drinking out of the cup mug today. I finally washed it. I was like, it felt like one of those days. So I've made some caffeinated fruit punch.
Oh,
It turned out better than the last batch I made because I used less grape.
mm.
And I enjoy grape
Mm-hmm.
as a fruit,
Mm-hmm.
as a jam flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial grape, I'm not a fan of, just
Got you.
personally. So I added less grape in this time. It's still I can still taste it. But this time I've balanced it with orange.
Oh,
And so it's really feeling like true fruit punch. And it's good. I'm pretty happy with it. So
cool.
grape, some strawberry, some blueberry, a little bit of coconut milk I had left over, and it's caffeinated. And it on paper it doesn't sound all that great, but I'm drinking it, so I'm content with it.
Period.
But
Look, as long as you're drinking it out of your cup, then I'm
I
perfectly
sure
happy with that.
am. Make sure to get
And
your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com for all your.
period.
I don't normally say the merch link, so I'm like, no, I'm doing it today.
Period. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. I don't have to be
Okay.
the only one to promote the cup merch. Everybody else should promote the cup merch along with me.
I just usually drink out of a cup that's bigger than this one, but I do enjoy my cup mug all the same. So, Project Runway, season
Make
2.
season 2, episode 4, 5, and 6.
Some wild episode.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
we got lingerie, Nicky Hilton, and Banana Republic. Oh my!
Woo! Come on, Banana Republic. Come through, Banana
Come,
Republic. But we're not
period.
starting there. We're starting with
No,
lingerie.
lingerie,
Lingerie.
lingerie,
Lingerie.
lingerie.
Um,
hmm
yeah.
It's
Lingerie.
it's a team challenge, and it's lingerie.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I
So yes, we come back. We have lost Raymundo,
bye, Ramundo.
and they issue the challenge of lingerie, but the designers have to pitch their ideas to one Heidi Klum.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, Lana, I remember I was like, oh yeah, I hated Santino in this season because he
I.
just
Mm, it's it took me one episode to realize that I hated Santino in this season. And
oh yeah.
not that I only hated him in this season. I will hate him until the end of this season because he just gets even more and more and more unbearable throughout the season. It was just so to watch.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was just not cute. It just was not cute.
Well, from the just complaining and pouting
The
over
pouting and rolling the
Barbie
eyes.
challenge, which we talked about in our last recap. Go check that out. It's just like because they go to present their designs to Heidi, and he's like, "Well, I wanted to do this German uh thing with Auf Wiedersehen on one of the butts of one of the garments," and I'm just like,
So tacky.
might I remind everyone that Heidi is very pregnant during this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, why do you feel the need to overtly just flirt with Heidi? I don't get it. It's really gross. Just- and then the comb overs in these episodes. Like,
Just put on a hat
accepted at
always.
a young age that I cannot pull off long hair because my balding pattern just does not account for it. I wish it did because I look great with some long hair and a beard. However, that is just not the case with Santino. But somehow he's still chosen as a team captain. I'm just like, why? I don't get it. What were you trying to stir up drama? In that case, sure, Heidi. But otherwise, no, Heidi. Absolutely
Right.
no, Heidi.
It was, but yeah. Also, team leaders was Daniel V and Diana. Those were the other
And
two.
Daniel F.
And Daniel F. Yes, I forgot. And Daniel F. They were all leaders for this team challenge, and they got to pick their teams. So Daniel, oh well, let's start with Santino. Santino picked Nick and Emmett. Well, Emmett was left over.
Marla
Daniel,
was left over.
yeah, well,
Yeah, so it was Emmett and Marla were the last pick. But.
Daniel F picked Chloe and Cara, and Daniel V picked Zaluma and Andre, and Diana had Marla and
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. Yeah.
Andre being first picked by Daniel V.
Made
What do
sense
we
to
think
me.
about that?
It made sense to me because he saw one thing about Andre is he knows how to put a garment together. That's the thing. You might not like his taste in some things, but he knows how to put a garment together and he knows how to do it in a timely fashion. So it made sense to me that Andre would be one of the top picks. Like, I mean, me personally, I would have picked Nick because
I would have picked Chloe
or Nick. Like, you leave them out to
or
be
Cara, frankly, for that matter. I feel like Cara is pretty good with construction.
She's good with construction. She's just a mess. Like she's all the time. She's So I wouldn't have picked her first, but definitely a Nick, definitely a Andre, definitely a Chloe because they know how to put a garment together and do it in a timely fashion. And I think Daniel V was looking for somebody who was not going to be a lot of drama either. And Andre has shown that he's not after that first episode, he really calmed down and brought it back down to reality and showed that he is not a crying, lunatic on all the time. He's very much can put a garment together in a timely manner and be calm. So it made sense to me that he picked Andre. I was like, okay, good choice.
Yeah. So I mean, we get a lot of group dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to just go by group?
Yeah.
So let's start with the simple group, the easy to work group,
yes.
And that's Daniel V, Andre, and Zulema. They just
smooth sailing.
They know what they're doing. They know this is the vision that Daniel is trying to execute.
Yep.
And they do it. It's just, there's not a whole lot of fuss about it. The other group that doesn't really have a whole lot of fuss is Diana, Guadalupe, and Marla.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the problem is Diana being the team leader had a great concept. I think she had one of the better concepts coming out of the pitch to Heidi, and then she was never confident in her designing skills in competition. And so Guadalupe and Marla are kind of just left like, okay, well, what do we do? And eventually they get on track and they get their stuff together.
Then they had some other issues later on, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point.
We'll talk about it, yeah. Santino, Nick, and Emmett.
Okay. So here's the thing. Santino is a tyrant. Santino is the person who I would never want to work for, especially if I know what I'm doing, especially if I'm good at what I'm doing. Because no matter how good you are, he always thinks he's better.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to treat you like he's better. And it's going to be like, oh, I'm better than you. And it's like, I don't know. And he was just very like, he had his idea. He knew what he wanted to do. And he was like, this is it. You all just have to do what I say do. And he was very like, that. Not listening to anybody's input on things, nobody's thoughts about maybe we should do this. Or how about we do this is my vision. This is how it's supposed to go. Heidi picked me. We're doing it like this. And Nick and Emma was like, okay, fine. All right. This is what you want. Just know that we saying what we don't like, but this is what you want. Okay, we're going to do what you want. And they did. They did exactly what he wanted.
They sure did. God.
They did exactly what he wanted. And he was just like, he was, I mean, the way he talked down about Emmett, I was like, is Emmett the best women's designer? No, because he's a menswear designer.
Literally.
No, right. He's a menswear designer. So yeah, he's trying to figure out his way and broaden his horizons and step out and explore some things. Great. And he's not doing a horrible job thus far in the competition.
He hasn't done a great job, but he's definitely not been horrible.
He's not been horrible. And it's like, I feel like to call him dead weight. Emmett has said, he was like, I know how to sew. I just haven't had to sew. Mm-hmm. I have people who do that. That's because he's that ahead and that good in his game in the menswear department. He don't have to sew anymore. Which I'm like, we gonna fault that man for being successful?
No, I do wish, in a lot of regards, that Emmett had more experience in women's
Agree.
And like, especially the and I don't have any specific frustrations with Emmett specifically. Mm-hmm. What I have frustration with is the fact that Tim Gunn knows Emmett.
Yeah.
Emmett was a student at Parsons.
Right.
Why, like, I appreciate that we have Emmett on this season.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who who specifically works in menswear and is trying to do more in women's wear. But why was he cast with that knowledge then? Mm-hmm. Because Tim knows that he's predominantly a menswear designer.
Right.
This isn't a menswear competition.
And I'm like, why don't we have one?
Yeah, what we need to like.
I wish they would do more competitions with more menswear, honestly, because
I know they start incorporating menswear challenges
later on. Mm-hmm.
But like,
why not have menswear so people who are women's wear could step out of their horizons and be uncomfortable? Huh?
It's more models to book.
I mean, true, I guess.
And at that time, menswear wasn't as dominant as it is now. I guess. We're living in a different time, which is, again, why I love going back and rewatching a season like this.
Right.
Because, like, sure, we can see what the differences are then.
Sure.
You want to go to the disaster group?
Daniel F., Chloe, and Cara. Now, see, this is the thing. I think that they worked. Daniel F. works how Daniel F. works, and Chloe and Cara definitely had to work harder and work around him and work around his creative process. And so, and it was a mess. It was a train wreck because Daniel F is not. He just does stuff. So his time management is awful,
Bad.
god awful. And Chloe is like, she quit. She know how to do stuff. She do it and it's done. Her time management is amazing. Even Cara in her, wild, ways about, getting panicky or whatever. Once she has an idea, she knows how to execute it in a timely manner. And so for them, working with Daniel was horrendous. It was just like, bro, come on. What do you want? You have a vision. Let's execute your vision. And he is somebody who will see a vision and decide on a whim, let's change it up. They were sewing things, putting whole things together, and then he'll go and cut it. Right. I want to change it. And that's so flippin' frustrating.
So frustrating.
Like, I just spent all of this time putting this together only for you to turn around and cut it. I would have kicked him in the neck.
There's a term or a phrasing that I like to use when it comes to Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to adapt it here because I think Daniel Franco is someone who is just a very good designer.
Mm-hmm. But just not ready for the competition. Exactly.
Not good at Project Runway because Project Runway requires you to be a very specific kind of designer.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see that throughout the seasons. There are a lot of really, really creative and people with a lot of unique perspectives on fashion that just do not end up being successful from the show because of the way that they operate. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I know with me, with the artistic process, I'm a painter. And so when I paint, I do like to take a little bit of time and like stop in the middle and like figure things out and like, do things like that. And I don't necessarily like to be rushed in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to enter project painting.
Ooh, it's an art show.
I'm not gonna enter a reality competition art show,
which they have, which I love, by the way.
From concept to execution, those time constraints just don't work for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that this is giving people that have those unique or more unique perspectives the opportunity to show their work. However, it's unfortunate because a lot of people throughout the seasons that we'll eventually cover end up falling into that pattern of like just not the best at Project Runway.
Right. Side note, have you seen the art show that they have for the artists who?
No.
It's a reality show for artists. Oh, I will get back with you. I have
artists.
What
is it called?
I will have to find it for you because I can't think of the name. But once I'll find. But they do. I've watched it. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Because I love the shows like Skin Wars. I always love Skin Wars.
And Glow Up and
Glow Up. Absolutely. Like those are all great shows.
Yeah, they have one for artists, so they do art stuff, and then they have one for glass blowers.
I have watched the glass blowing competition.
That's so great to me.
That one is great.
But anyway.
Yeah, the difficulty is like I think Chloe and Cara worked very well together.
Yes. I think that just made them actually closer.
It seems like it in subsequent episodes. It does seem like they are. And in a future challenge that we'll talk about in this episode of our coverage, maybe they should have picked each other.
And we move because yes, you're right. But yeah, so we get to they're doing their things, they're making these garments. People are expressing their concerns. For Cara and Chloe, they are like losing their minds because Daniel F is being Daniel F, and just his process is just not their process. Santino is being Santino and driving Nick and Emmett crazy. And then he starts flipping out because he's like second guessing his idea, which I wish he would have second guessed it all the way to not doing that.
I wish he wouldn't have come up with the concept and instead have done something completely different.
right. But he's second guessing, and now Nick and Emmett have to play consoler and like, no, you're fine. No, you're great. Oh no, it's okay. We'll get it done. Don't worry. Emmett is the consummate professional. He is like, we'll work it out. We'll get it done. Don't worry. You tell us what you need us to do. We'll do it. Da da da. Nick is like, ugh, he's so getting on my nerves. Like Nick is rolling his eyes at every chance he can get. It was it was just crazy. But like we said, the other two teams, they were just like doing just running along, getting the things done, and it was it wasn't drama with them, which I kind of appreciated because everybody can't be drama. Everybody can't be the drama.
Yeah.
So shall we just get to the looks because I feel
think we are at that moment where we just need to talk about it.
yeah. Yeah. Let's just talk about it. Because these are not some well, we'll talk about it. So this is Daniel's collection, Daniel F, with Daniel, Chloe, and Cara. You know, it's not the best,
It's bad.
but it's not the worst.
I think it is.
I don't think it is, honestly.
For me, it comes down to I just don't find that there's any concept behind this. The concept that Daniel went with was that this was like some sort of lingerie line for like people that want to engage in lovemaking and people that are newlyweds or fiancéed or whatever. If my fiance came out in any of these three garments, I would turn around and leave.
It's not that bad.
Yes, it is, Lana.
No, it's not because it's what makes it not that bad is that it's the lace is the lace is perfectly like placed and sexy and like it could be sexy. I feel like it needs some trimming. Like I don't think all those ruffles need to be there on the first and the second model. Like I think that makes it a little not cute. But if you just think about that could be a perfect like the girl in the middle. That could be a perfectly good like baby doll lace negligee. If
The
it
straps are cut wrong and different and jagged.
I mean, I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's not horrible.
I
It's
think it is.
I don't think it's the worst look on the runway, honestly.
I do.
Well, we
I
agree to
just
disagree.
I think the look on Grace, the third look, is the most successful of them. Because it's not like super overdone. But like this first look, her entire titty is out.
I
And
mean,
I
it's
don't
lingerie. I'm supposed to have my titty out. Like you're
but
supposed to be able.
why are her titties out and nobody else's titties are out in the
I
way
mean,
that
the girls, all of their titties are out. It's just the
well no,
lace is placed.
there is support for the titties in the second and third looks. That's what I'm saying. Is there's just no support for the titty in the first look, and I want titty support.
I mean, they don't have a lot of titties. They don't really need that much support.
But
So
I get what you're saying.
that's the whole thing. The small-breasted women don't need to have a fully supported bra on. And when you're doing lingerie, and I'm about to get it ripped off anyway, it don't even matter about the support.
This shouldn't be ripped off. This should be
Oh,
ripped.
oh no! If this is if his vision is newlywed fiance about to be lovemaking, this is after a wedding. This should be ripped off. Like I want my lingerie on my wedding night ripped off me because that means we are just so hungry for each other, and that was what he came up. The idea was
I
for
was
him.
trying to make a joke and I think you missed it, Lana, but it's okay.
It wasn't a funny joke because it went completely over me.
I was saying it shouldn't get ripped off. It should get ripped up in the trash, thrown away. No.
I don't think it's the worst look on the runway. It's it's not good, but it's
I'm
not
glad
the
we
worst.
disagree. I'm
Me
happy to hear
too,
that.
because it's not the worst for me. But all right.
Score, Lana.
I mean, it's not great. I would give it a 10 because it's not great.
I think the amount of time, effort, and energy that Chloe and Cara put into this collection is admirable.
Mm-hmm.
However, I
Mm-hmm.
will be eating.
That is fine because my plead is yet to come.
Well, here we go.
Plead,
I
plead,
yeah.
plead. 100%. Who is wearing that? What fiance? What woman is putting this on unless you're going to cosplay in bed? Like that is the
I
only
was gonna
way.
say you could probably make some pretty good OnlyFans videos in something like the first look. And the first look is the only successful one in my opinion. And it's
This
not even successful.
it's this is so bad to me. This is so ugly. Everything about this look, the styling, the make, everything about this is ugly to me. There is nothing that I can honestly say I would actually put on in wear. Like nothing. This is gross. I don't. Mm-mm.
It's bad.
Not my T getting cut off. I do know how to spell Emmett's name. T got cut off.
Not that.
The other T got cut off, but
Not
y'all know
that.
what I mean. But yeah, I plead because I would never wear any of this.
Oh yeah, no, it's a plead.
It's
It's
gross.
bad. I just think the other collection is worse.
I gave that 10 for a reason.
Trust me when I say I wish Santino went home over Daniel. Let me make
Oh,
that very, very clear. However, I think well, I mean we'll talk about the elimination, but yeah, this is just bad.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the ladies. Diana, Guadalupe, Marla.
Oh,
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. For me, I think the first look is the most successful.
the red.
The red. I think the red for me, the red and the green are the good ones for me.
Action is good. My problem came with the model on this, honestly.
On the
And
in
we'll
the red
talk
look?
about in the red
Okay.
because I don't think it was successful. I think she made them change their entire look, which took away from the cohesiveness
Oh,
of
I
the what,
forgot about
which made them
that.
change the whole cohesiveness of their runway. Because she was like, they had it was a similar like bra and panty
Yeah.
type deal, and she was like, "Oh no, this is too much for me. It's too." I'm like, "Baby girl, you're a model.
Girl.
You are a model. Your job is to put on the clothes and model.
Yeah.
If you can't handle being in lingerie, what you here for? What you
Yeah.
modeling for? Because what happens when they say you got to do a nude shoot? What happens when they say you have to do a partially nude shoot? What
Right.
happens? You And I feel like then her making them alter this whole thing, it 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 took away the quality of the work that was done. Because now looking at the look at that the pouch in the sack, you can see her, it's so tight, or like her skin, it's like her hips are coming out. It's looking like a can of busted biscuits about to happen on the runway, and it should not be that because the way they made it first, it wouldn't have been that. But they had to change it for her, and I don't think the look is successful. I don't think the first look is successful. That the second one is, I love that. The third one is okay. I feel like they could have used a little something else, but I still think it was fine.
I hate the way that the chiffon is draped in the third look. It
Mm,
looks like arm cuffs. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want that.
yeah.
Like, because that feels like it's just like so tight to the skin that it's like you're gonna rip it off and it's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the second look, the chiffon is just like draped inside the panty.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't get that.
I,
For me, I think I'm gonna stand by. I think the first look for me is the most successful only because I think the way that the chiffon is draped, I think that's really nice. None of these read goddess for me by any means of the imagination, which is what the collection was supposed to be.
I
But
don't
for
know.
me,
Go ahead.
I think just the look of the first look is my favorite. But I don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this was the second best collection of the evening.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't decide to take that blue instead of making it arm cuffs. Just put it a wrap around and make it a goddess like inferior, like wrap it around her like a overlay.
Or that thick strap on her left shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
have the chiffon coming off of that, and so when she walks, it's just chiffon blowing behind her.
Yes.
Because then
Yeah.
you have like the chiffon
In the
hanging
front,
down in the
the
first look and on the
side, and then the
side.
back.
Yeah, tucked in. I would have, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. That would
Yeah.
have just been that would have been a lot better for me.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
Score for the collection.
Yeah. What the next collection?
I was gonna say your score, Lana.
Uh, I will give it a 45.
I'm gonna give it a 30. I'm not, no, no. And then the successful collection from Daniel, Zulema, and Andre. I absolutely loved Andre's concept of the ex-girlfriend taking the taking revenge on her ex-boyfriend and like using that, and this whole masculinized lingerie concept is just so good for me. um I think the only look for me that is show stopping is actually that third look with the tie. I think that one is really, really good for me. Um, the second look, it's a bra and panty with cuff links, and it's fine, but I don't think it's spectacular. I don't think it's wonderful. It's well made, so work. The first look, I mean, it's a corset with a negligee, which also is not bad, but it's a corset with a negligee, and I guess in this scenario, that is kind of the most successful collection. I think this was the most cohesive collection. This was the most well constructed collection. They did great. So,
Yeah, I think this was the most successful, and it was not so, even though it wasn't so exciting, it wasn't super exciting. It was just out of everybody's, this was one of the best to run. So it was what it was. I do agree with you. The bottom one with the tie was probably the most successful because it actually feels like it went with what the vision was for from Daniel with the taking the boyfriend's clothes, turning them into something else. I don't know what the correlation for that top one, the first one
I think it's just the cufflinks.
on the black, all
Yeah, on
black.
the second, yeah, it's she
No,
just has
no, not the brown panty one.
oh,
What was the correlation from on the first one?
not a clue in the world.
Like there's nothing that says old boyfriend's clothes on that one. But the cufflinks, at least there were cufflinks on the other one, on the brown panties that to say, okay, yeah, I took and ripped his shirt, but kept the cufflink, kept the cuffs of the shirt and made it just, a cuff of my lingerie. Um, yeah, but other than that, I guess it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. It wasn't anything too exciting, but it was perfectly fine. And it was the best one that actually looked like a collection that I possibly would wear.
I wouldn't, but that's just me.
I mean,
Score
I would give it a 50 because it's all right.
60.
Good.
Yeah. So, yes, we find out the top team of the week, to nobody's surprise, and rightly so, is
Mm-hmm.
Zulema and Andre,
Yes.
meaning that Daniel V is the winner of the challenge.
Period. Yay. Good for him. It was blah, just like Daniel V. It was all right. It was meh. It was good. And he's meh. He's all right.
Yeah, he is. We'll not
He's,
talk about it.
he's me-
We find out that the ladies' team is safe, correctly so, and our bottom
yeah.
groups are Daniel, Chloe, Cara, and Santino, Nick, and Emmett. And this is where we get in the critique, it's who should go home basically from your group. And in the Santino, Nick, and Emmett group, Santino and Nick both say Emmett because he doesn't know how to sew, apparently, which is not true, but they can just go with whatever narrative they want to go with. And Emmett says Santino because he literally had a nervous breakdown and he had to coach him out of a nervous breakdown.
Which he did.
Which he did. And then you go to the other group, and before either of the ladies can say anything, Daniel's like, I can't throw them under the bus. If this is the worst collection, I go down with the collection.
Oh.
And you know, Chloe wanted to go up there and be like, no, Daniel was the worst.
Yep.
Daniel, blah, 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 blah. And Cara, the same thing. And Chloe literally goes, well, damn, you're so nice. And Chloe's entire demeanor changes. And I'm just like,
I mean, and that was the thing. They were ready to throw him under the bus
they both
and be
were
like,
absolutely prepared to do whatever they needed to do to stay in the competition. And I do not blame them.
I don't blame him either. That's what you're supposed to do. But I love the fact that was another thing that was just endearing to me, that I was like, Daniel was, and he told them that even in the workroom, he was like, look, if this is something that is the worst, and if I go down with it, I mean, if it's going down, I'm going to go down with it. I would never throw you under the bus. And he meant that. And he stood on that runway and was like, if this is the worst, take me down, take me out, because I would never throw these. He said, I've never seen two people work harder in my life, and they did. And I was like, see, that's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I loved it. I love that moment. And you know what? He went down with it because, Daniel was eliminated.
I wish it had been Santino.
I wish it would have been Santino. I honestly feel like it should have been Santino, but whatever. Because the way Santino acted on that runway, my God, I would have sent him home just for being so disrespectful. But I kind of believe that Nina Garcia and Michael Kors are like that. Like, they would do something like that. They would talk back to people like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they were like, you know, I find it passionate that he's so passionate about his thing. No, that's disrespectful and that's rude. But I feel like they're rude and disrespectful. So of course they would be okay with that.
Like, on certain occasions, they'll get mad at someone for talking back, but then in other situations, it's not. I've never been the biggest fans of Michael and Nina as judges. I think they're good, and I think they're the best possible people that they probably could have had as judges. However, we're going to pick and choose when we want to be critical of someone called.
Because wasn't they talking about first season about Daniel F, the way he was talking back to them?
Weren't we literally talking about this with Andre 4 episodes ago? So, anyway, Daniel's gone. We go to episode 5, and it is the Nicky Hilton challenge. It is our client relations. Ooh. So yes, we find out that the challenge is to design for Nicky Hilton. Design a party dress for Nicky Hilton. Like, that's literally just the challenge. And there's nothing really groundbreaking or unique.
Nope.
They get 2 days for the challenge. And then ultimately what ends up happening is they end up going to a party the second night hosted by Nicky Hilton with their models in the dresses. So it's very similar to the
model client. I mean, well, the page 6 review thing.
Yeah, the page 6 challenge from season 1. It's very, very similar, but
Nicky Hilton's there.
So really the only things of note for me from the actual workroom moments is that Marla basically reconstructs a dress that was in the dossier.
And not only does she recreate it, when Tim tells her about it, she gets very defensive. Like the first day Tim tells her, this is looking a bit more like this Chloe dress that's in the dossier. And she's like, oh no, it's my design. It's my design. It's my design. He's like, it's looking a little bit. It's mine. I will get. He was like, well, make it work. Try to fix it where it doesn't look like that. I got it. The second day in the workroom, Tim says, it's looking like this Chloe dress. And she's like, but I've done things. I've changed some things. It's my design. Tim, I'm very content. It's my design. I got it. It's mine. Don't worry about it. Then when they get to the party, Nicky says, this looks like a dress that I wore before, a Chloe dress that I just had on not too long ago. And Marla says, does it? No. Does it? No. I'm like, girl.
No.
Tim only then told you that twice. People in the workroom have told you that. And you
and then when they're on the runway and Nicky Hilton brings it up and Heidi's like,
really?
Oh, you wore a dress like this recently. Was it in the dossier? And they're like, yeah, it was one of the 2 looks shown. And Heidi just goes, oh, well, I didn't know that was the case.
I'm like, Heidi, what? You just sitting right there when she... But okay, I don't know.
I'm like, was Heidi not given the dossier?
Right? Did you not see the dossier? Girl.
Was Heidi not an executive producer at this point? Or was she just the host? I think that actually might have been the case.
I think she was just the host, but I'm like,
because I know she becomes an executive producer.
Yeah.
I have the Wikipedia page up.
No, she's not the executive producer in season 2. But I'm like, girl, you ain't get the dossier? Child.
So yeah, I also want to talk about the designer walk-off. I thought it was cute. So they were saying, oh, Santino and Nick have the best walk. I disagree.
That was Zulema.
Right! I was like, Zulema has the best walk. What are you talking about?
I was like, did y'all not see did you not just see?
I'm like, Zulema could pull an Austin Scarlett and just like model a garment if she needed to.
She had to walk.
I thought Nick was impressive.
Nick was impressive. His spins, his twirls was great.
He stopped, quick spin. And I was like, yes. You better.
Exactly.
You know he had been waiting his entire life for that moment.
For sure.
Oh, I loved it. But looks again? Yeah.
Let's just get into it.
Boom. First up is Andre.
You know what? When I saw this look in this picture, I was like, I don't know. But the look on the actual runway looks really good. This picture doesn't do it any justice because you can't see the sparkles, and the sparkly stuff on the dress is very glittery. Yeah. And it's so cute. He made it out of jersey. So he was like, I made it for a woman on the go. You could just wear it, throw it into your suitcase, pull it out and put it back on. It's a jersey dress. It won't wrinkle. And I love that. I love this dress, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really smart of him to make it out of a fabric that's going to be very, very easy to just throw it in your carry-on, boom, weekend in LA. That's so smart. And honestly, I wouldn't have thought about that. So it was really good. I don't think it was one of the best of the evening, but I do think it was a very solid, very well-constructed look. So I'm going to give Andre a 75.
I will give Andre a 75 as well. I think it was good.
Work. Next is Zulema. This is cute, but I mean, ruching up the front of a dress is not always the most flattering. And in this case, I did not think this was the most flattering. I love the leather moments happening on the top. I think that was really well done. But yeah, it's just, and then there's puckering on the sides. It didn't all come together, but the concept I think is interesting.
Yes, I think Zulima has a aesthetic that is maybe not for everyone. I don't like the ruching in the front. I think the ruching up front makes it look a little dowdy, a little, I don't know, out of place, like the puckering on the sides. I do like the leather tops and the top of the dress from the boobs up. I like the look. I don't like her styling on the model because I feel like
Yeah,
her face is too severe and just that slick back hair. It makes her look really rough, like. I don't
yeah,
really like that. The dress was all right. It wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the worst dress, but it definitely wasn't the best.
definitely not the worst dress.
No, no. But scores
60.
for me, I would give it a 58.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marla.
This was the only picture that I can find of this look. And I mean, it's the
Nobody
clothes.
needs to see it because it's bad.
It was bad. It was the same dress, but just worse.
Yeah.
It was just done wrong. It made her look boxy. It made her look wide in the hips. It's not flattering. It's the same Chloe kind of concept that Nikki had just worn at that time. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, just no,
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 no.
absolutely not. Scores.
I'm gonna plead.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it with you.
Like, for me, there's just no reason to give it a score because it's not unique.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
really don't like this look from Emmett.
It was so boring and matronly, and it was very. This reminds me of somebody who is the only teenager or young person that will wear this kind of dress is if they were forced to wear it to somebody's wedding. Like,
Funeral.
or, well, it's too fancy for a funeral, but
No,
it
it's
should look, it's too fancy for a funeral because the shoulders are out and it's, the, it's a straw strap, but it's, it's a, how when my beautiful Hispanic brothers and sisters be dressing their little girls up to go to school in the real, like they dress them up to go to, where they look way too fancy to be in school. But
uh,
this is what it reminds me of, like somebody's granny or somebody's mama threw this on their child and was like, "It's so cute, honey. Put this on." It's a matronly looking dress that he tried to put on a teenager, and
no.
it's a bad dress. I don't really care for it. Is it worse than Marla's and what we'll see later? No, because the fit is nice. You can
Yeah,
see the work done in the dress. It's just not a good design.
it's just not good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Scores.
12.
I'll give it a 20 for the impeccable tailoring of it.
Sure.
That's about it.
Cara Jenks.
This dress is fine too.
It's
It's cute. It's fine. It's nothing exciting. I'm not like flipping out about it, but I'm not mad at it either.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a black dress
Right.
made of materials that is on her body.
Yep. It fits her well. Her model's beautiful.
Eden is gorgeous.
Eden's gorgeous. But yeah, it's a black dress. It would get no recognition if Nicky Hilton wore it out.
Absolutely not.
And that is not why you put on an outfit to go out if you're Nicky Hilton. Scores.
A 50.
I was going to say the same thing because it's meh.
It's fine.
It's fine. This challenge was a little underwhelming. Okay.
Underwhelming. Daniel V.
One thing about Daniel V, he wanted some black fabric, and he did not pick the right fabric when he went to Mood. He ended up picking fabric that he thought was black, but didn't seal into the light. And when he got back to the workroom, he found out it was chocolate brown. So he didn't get to do his original idea of what he wanted to do for like black side panels, I guess, for the dress. And so he had to just make the dress out of this fabric, which is not horrible because the fabric is actually pretty fabric, but I can understand why he wanted to break it up because a whole dress in this fabric is a little jarring to the eye. It's a little bit much. And so it's not great, but it's not the worst.
Bored by a fabric that should not bore me. This fabric should not bore me in any way, shape, or form, and yet I am so bored.
I mean, he's a meh person with a meh taste in design for me, so that's why his score will give me a meh. He's getting a 50.
I'm gonna give him a 54.
Because
it's better than Kara's, but
okay, 51.
Yeah.
Nick.
And I didn't even really like this from Nick.
I liked it better than I liked some others, but
anything
it wasn't
else we've seen thus far, honestly.
Yeah, but I feel like Nick went safe with this one also. I feel like everybody went safe for me. I don't think this challenge they rose up to the challenge. I felt like everybody was so scared to do something that was actually good. I just didn't feel this look it was a cute blue, but it was just a nicely draped dress.
The back draping is very good.
It's pretty, but it wasn't exciting.
This season is not a season that you watch for fashion. You watch this season for the drama.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly what it's coming down to. And I remember why I don't enjoy this season as much is because the fashion is overall is just not all that strong.
Right.
In my opinion.
I agree. This
this is fine. I mean, I'm going to give Nick 75. I think it's fine.
Yeah. I will give it a 70. It was all right.
Fine. Diana.
It was fine.
It was fine. I don't feel like like I said, this challenge wasn't it for me. It didn't do it for me. This wasn't fashion forward of any kind from anybody. This was okay. What I really enjoyed about like the client challenge from last season is at least it was like a rock challenge, so there was like a little bit more intrigue to it. And even the page 6 challenge, I thought people like served about a look that was better than this. But like, I agree with what they're saying. I think it's a cute garment, just not for Nicky Hilton.
Yes.
But the way that that's draped and the way that the skirt goes out is so 2020s. Like that's so popular today. And was throughout like a good chunk of the like 2010s as well. So Diana's just ahead of her time.
Right. Sure.
But for this challenge,
yeah,
I'm gonna give Diana a 60.
I was thinking 60 as well.
Because like I think it's a good garment, just not for this challenge.
Right.
And that's exactly what they said on
Yeah. Yeah.
Plead.
Please already. I don't want to talk about it. It's
And I think
horrible.
Guadalupe is an incredibly talented designer. That's the difficulty. Is just like she even said in confessional, I'm doing something that's maybe a little bit out of the box and maybe people won't get it. Then don't do it for this challenge.
Right. We
This
don't
is
get
the
it.
challenge where you don't need to be outside of the box. You need to adapt the box and turn it into a circle.
Right. Because honestly, you're preparing for a client. You're not making a vision for yourself. You have to think about what a client would want to wear, and a client that is going to be photographed everywhere they go, and a client who's going to go out in this dress who will get ripped to shreds by the paparazzi.
Because they literally say in the critique when everybody's off stage, they're like, if Nicky was in Marla's dress, at least the worst they would say is, oh, it looks like that Chloe dress.
Right.
But if she wore Guadalupe's dress, they would literally say, what was she thinking?
Right. She is on the worst dress list, period.
No.
Yeah. No, absolutely
Sorry.
Not. Please.
Next. I'm gonna be real honest with this Santino look. I don't like
this either. I don't like it either.
So much like his first garment.
That's what I said. I said it looks like the first dress.
Yeah.
Just in a different color.
Yeah. I love the color. I think the color is fine.
Sure.
But no.
It's just Santino's dress
from the first. On the bottom is ugly.
The only good thing about this dress for me was the braid in the back. The braids on the shoulders.
We've already seen that.
Yes, and we'll see it again. It's so yeah.
It's a well-constructed garment, though, and I think she looks good. I'm gonna give it a 70 because it is a well-constructed garment. It's just like we've already seen this.
70, 71 to 72. It is well-constructed, but it's just boring to me because we've seen it.
Incredibly boring.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Same thing with this dress.
I was gonna say with Chloe's dress, we've seen
it, and we've seen the color.
Or this is the same as her clothes off her back.
Yes.
Basically.
And it got a braid in the back. That's what I'm saying. We'll see the braid again because it got a braid in the back.
It's a different silhouette, but it's the same color palette, the same sort of open back situation.
It's constructed well, but it's boring. And I'm gonna give her the same score I gave Santino, 71 or 72. I said.
I'm gonna give her the same score I gave Santino, which is a 70. But I think it's. I don't know.
It's the same
Nick
thing.
Won this challenge? I don't know.
All of them were perfectly fine.
All of them were bad.
All of them were perfectly fine, but not great. So I didn't get. It was up to Nicky who she wanted to wear, and she chose who she wanted to wear. So it is what it is.
So we get the top three, which is Santino, Nick, and Chloe.
Sure. All perfectly fine. Whatever. Boring dresses.
And the winner is Santino, and it's just.
I think he just charmed Nicky because Nicky just really liked him.
I genuinely agree with that. 100%.
She charmed Nicky, but yeah.
Our bottom three is our girls from the last challenge. All three of them just in the bottom.
Just in the bottom.
Together they could do enough to scrape by, but separately they could not.
Nope.
And well,
rightfully so, I think.
This podcast episode that we're filming today, but the bottom two does end up being Marla and Guadalupe. Diana is saved, and Guadalupe.
Rightfully so.
Correct.
It was correct. It was the correct thing to do. Okay. It was just not a good look, and Nicky Hilton would have got land blasted wearing it.
Yeah.
So you didn't do the challenge, so she should have went, unfortunately.
But I really like her aesthetic. That's the thing I do want to say. I really, really like what Guadalupe was doing on the season, and I think most of her garments were very well done. It's just
I didn't like any of her things she put down the runway.
I like her aesthetic. I'll say that.
I didn't like how she put stuff there. But sure. Then we move on to the next episode because we're going to the Banana Republic.
Come on, Banana
And
Republic challenge.
come on, Banana Republic. Like we go to the Banana Republic challenge and they have to create a look. See, okay, this is something that I found very interesting. They just tell them they're going to the Banana Republic and that's it. They're going. And so when they get to Banana Republic, they say, you're gonna make a day to night wear look for the Banana Republic customer. And she can go from work
Yeah.
to the club at night.
And they
You
have a select number of
of
fabrics.
fabrics, right? So it's like, so pick your fabrics and going back to the workroom. So everybody picks their fabric, everybody goes back to the run room, everybody makes their sketches, and then Tim Gunn comes in and says, "Oh, by the way, you will be in teams of 2, and you will have to just there's no team leaders. You will have to decide whose sketch you want to use, whose fabric you want to use, and whose model you want to use."
And this is going to be judged in teams.
This is the funny. Well, no, because he don't even tell them that right then.
Yeah.
He don't tell them that. He just tells them to pick their model or pick their partners. So everybody's picking their partners and going around and picking. Models, I mean, people get picked. Some people not who they wanted to be picked, but they pick them anyway. So the teams are Nick and Santino, Chloe and Emmett, Diana and Marla, and Zalima and Cara, and Daniel V. Well, Daniel, because I was just say Daniel, because the other one's gone. Daniel and Andre. So those are the teams. And they're like, okay, fine, we're working teams. So they're working. They're doing their thing. They're figuring it out. Santino's being Santino and is taking over the whole project. And Nick is like, look, I'm telling you my concerns. I'm letting you know how I feel. And so when we get down to the runway, if they ask questions, I'm going to tell them I pulled my concerns out. And this is what I thought. So there was that. Chloe and Emmett kind of just got together and did their thing. They were
great combination.
Great combination. No drama, no nothing. They just worked and figured it out. Andre and Daniel, again, they were just like yin and yang. They just flowed together.
What I found really interesting with the pairings themselves is 3 of these pairings were of people that had already worked together on the lingerie challenge.
Yes.
Because Marla and Diana had already worked together, Nick and Santino had already worked together, and then Andre and Daniel had already worked together. And then it was kind of like, it's just like the picking and choosing from literally the other teams. And so I found it interesting the way that everything shook out in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the Zalima and the Cara of it all.
Oh, God.
They were going through. And I think, this didn't even happen until after the fact that they got the news brought back to them. After they had been working for a couple of hours and was getting everybody to getting their thing and getting into their rhythm, Tim comes back and calls them over and is like, oh, by the way, just like you're working in pairs and the winners will be in pairs, the losers also will be in pairs, which means 2 of you are going home. And that shifted the whole entire workroom.
So I believe, I don't know this to be true. I haven't done any research on this. I honestly feel like something must have come up with a guest judge. A challenge didn't come through the way it was supposed to. Because also, Michael Kors wasn't in one of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael wasn't even in the lingerie challenge. We had a different guest judge.
Mm-hmm.
So something makes me think, and talking about episode 7, I believe Michael Kors isn't in the next episode anyway. We're not talking about that one today. But Anne Slowey comes in and I believe replaces one of the 2 of them. So I'm like, did something fall through and there were like, there was a time difference or something? Like, was this originally intended to be a double elimination? Or did something fall through and it ended up having to be a double elimination? Or did they
Maybe.
have to move up the schedule and it ended up being a double elimination? Like that's I'm like was that the case? Like I don't know. And I haven't done any research on it. I don't know if any of that is true, but um
Yeah, no, I don't know. It might have fell through, but who knows? But this double just came out of nowhere, so it's now done elimination for them.
yeah. And really so the only like you were saying, Andre and Daniel working beautifully together. Emmett and Chloe working beautifully together with their reversible jacket, which we will talk at length about the reversible jacket because I love the reversible jacket. And then Nick and Santino are just, they're fighting, but they have they get their concept eventually, and they're working on it. And Nick, in his confessional, is like, well, I feel like it's an equal combination of like Santino's design, but with a lot of my elements added in. And we'll see the end result here in a bit. Marla and Diana just never could get on the same page, and they end up going with Diana's design. And then Diana isn't even confident in Diana's design. And so it's like, what are we doing here? Like, huh? What? And then the Cara and Zulema of it all. Just, they are just two completely different designers. They cannot get on the same page. It's so all over the place. Zulema is just like, we need to get this done. And Cara is like stressed over everything, crying. In the midst of all of this, we get Navy Charmeuse Gate.
It's Navy everywhere. It's Navy everywhere.
Everyone.
Man, everybody.
And that's honestly what kind of kickstarts Cara and Zulema, like just boom, boom, boom. It's like, are you using Navy Charmeuse? Oh, I'm using Navy Charmeuse. Navy Charmeuse. I don't ever want to hear about Navy Charmeuse ever again.
I mean, I agree with Zulema on this part. She was like, we can't do Navy Charmeuse if everybody is doing Navy Charmeuse. And I don't want, and Cara was like, let's just do it. We got to do it. Let's just do it. And I'm like, I would have been like, we need to change this whole situation here because we can't stand out on the runway if we do the same doggone thing. Like, we can't do that. And so I understood it, but then it was like, then Tim Gunn comes into the workroom and they're already like not confident in what they're doing. And then Tim's like, no, I don't see this. This is bad. And they're like, oh.
Mind you, it's like 10 p.m. at this point.
Yeah. So Cara's losing it now because at this point, it's like you said, it's 10 o'clock. They put together this dress and it's not good. And the Navy Charmeuse that everybody was talking about. And he was like, it's just not good. And so after Tim does his things with everybody, Diana and Marla are questioning everything. Everybody else is great. He's like loving Chloe and Emmett's look. They're like, oh, this is great. He's loving Daniel and Andre's. Oh, this is great. He looks at Santino and Nick and is like, So when he leaves, those three teams who he was like, are kind of like, spiraling. So the Zulema is like, we got to change it. We got to change it right now. And we just have to change it. Let's use this fabric here. Because she had bought a different print of fabric. She didn't get the Navy Charmeuse, but she was going along with Cara's idea mostly. But she was like, we'll use my fabric. This fabric will work. We can make this dress. We can do it right. Cara's like, we're done right. Zulema turns into like drill sergeant. She's like, look, let's just get it done. We can cry and cut, but you gotta cry and cut. Don't stop to cry. You gotta cry and cut. We gotta get this done. And I feel like they tried to make Zulema out to be the angry black woman, but I'm like, No, she's literally just trying to get her girl to stop acting like a willowy wispy flower and stop because
Literally.
you're crying is not going to get anything done. We got to get it done. And then like Daniel comes over and gives her a hug and console. You're gonna be okay. She's just like, mind your business. Go do your thing. She needs to stop. She gotta suck it up. Like, stop being a baby. This is a competition, and you're trying to fight for your life to stay. But you want to sit there and, woe is me. I can't get cut the goddamn fabric and get to work.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
I agree with you completely. Just
It was crazy. I was like, y'all trying to make this girl to be the angry black woman. I see what y'all doing, but it doesn't work with me because I see the real truth.
Let's talk about the looks.
Let's look.
Emmett and Chloe reversible jacket.
I love this look. I love this jacket. I would see myself going to work in an outfit like that because once you put the jacket on, it's very work. It got that nice little tie in the front. It's very professional looking. It's like doo-doo-doo. But baby, when I take that jacket off and turn it around and put it on, I'm ready for the nightlife. I'm ready to boogie. That let's go shimmer in the nightlight, the lights at the nightclub or whatever. I only had to go home to change. Baby, that's perfect. That's perfect. That was really good. I enjoyed this look a lot.
It's for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Mm-hmm.
This was the winner.
Mm-hmm. For me too. I thought it was perfect. And I don't care that they said, and this is what I didn't understand about the critique that they said about this. It's more what's the name of the store? Barndorf. Huh?
Oh,
No.
the other one? I don't remember the other one.
Bergdorf, whatever. I don't know what that store is. I don't look. I'm not rich enough to shop at those stores. But they said it was more Bergdorf than Banana Republic. I'm like, well, if it's giving you high class like that kind of store and it's in Banana Republic, I would want that.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Well,
Banana Republic prices in a Banana Republic outfit that looks like it's that you can get at Borndorf's.
Well, and the thing is, I loved what Chloe said to that comment where she was like, well, we wanted it to look a little bit more high end, but for people that can't pay those prices but still want to look good, like that's kind of where we were coming from with it. And it seemed like they just had no respect for that. And I'm like, okay, bye.
The times is a changing because if you can get when you go to TJ Maxx and you find an outfit that looks like it's Dolce and Gabbana but at TJ Maxx prices, you're fawning over it. You're throwing your money at it like, give me you. And for them to act like that's not a thing, it was like, y'all ridiculous. Y'all ridiculous. But I agree. I thought they should have won. But okay.
Honestly, it's a full.
It's a full. It's a full.
Full.
100% full. And you know what? They really hated this look. And I didn't really hate it. I just found it to be a bit boring. Mm-hmm. But I didn't hate it.
It's not good.
It's not great. I mean, it's a black jacket and a pencil skirt with a silver top. You take the jacket off. I think the silver top is something you would wear going out, would be cute. It's not, like I said, it's just very boring. They talk about she looks like the stewardess. I'm like, maybe in the with the jacket on, she definitely gives that stewardess look. But when you go to the office, that's you're wearing stuff that doesn't always, maybe you kind of look like a stewardess when you go to the office. I don't know. I don't think it's a horrible look. I think if they would have I don't know. I don't think it's horrible. It's not exciting. I agree with that.
I think it's well tailored. It's just
Mm-hmm.
very boring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
If I had to give it a score, which I do, I will give it a 60.
I'm gonna give it a 55.
55.
55.
Mm-hmm.
Kara and Zulema. I mean, they turned it out.
They turned it out.
They turned it out. Like I was very impressed. They turned it out. Like
I
they
think
did.
that dress is amazing.
I love the dress.
I
I
love the
think
dress.
I think the jacket, I do completely agree. I feel like it just doesn't fit with this.
Yeah, they should have made a full sleeve on that jacket instead of a vest.
Yeah.
If you made a full jacket instead of that cut or bubble like sleeve top on the shoulder, if you would have just made a full jacket, it would have been perfect. It would have worked. One of them crop top jackets, would have been everything because you could take it off and it would have been a great day to evening wear.
Yeah.
But they did turn it out though. That dress is everything.
Yeah.
That was the best
There were some
fabric
hemming
choice.
issues. Yeah, there were some hemming issues, but I do love
Yes.
that they ended up going with that fabric.
Mm-hmm. It's so much better than that navy charmeuse.
Come on, Navy Charmeuse. It's a 75.
It's the 76. Just to one up once. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Nick and Santino. Honestly, I didn't hate it.
I feel the same way I feel about this that I do with Diana and Marla's. It's not horrible, it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's just boring. Yeah,
I
it's
I
just boring.
really enjoy the coat situation that they did. I like the way that was constructed. It's not very Banana Republic,
Mm-hmm.
but I do actually really like the way that the coat is constructed with this, with kind of the triangular top situation. I think all of that works very well together. It's just, the pieces didn't all come together in the way that they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all right. It's fine. What did I give Diana? A
Let me,
7? A 60?
I think so.
They will get a 60 as well.
I'll give this a 65.
Okay.
Oh, no, wrong one. Am I missing?
Nope, that's it.
No, we didn't talk about the winner.
Did I miss that?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, oh no.
Well,
Oh no. Hold on. I'll just pull it up and we'll just share the screen. Because oh no, not me missing whole Daniel and mm-mm-mm. Sorry, people. That's on me, but it happens.
well, we also have to talk about part 2 of the challenge, which is the window displays that they end up doing.
Yes.
So they have to put up a window display, and they have actual Banana Republic customers, aka random people off the street, who they think had the best window display, and then the people with the best window display won the challenge, which I didn't really agree with all that much. Because
Yeah.
Diana and Marla had some stupid crumpled paper idea. I feel bad for whatever worker had to clean up all that paper.
Right.
That's what I feel bad about. Like,
Yeah. It was something.
like I don't. And then
Right.
I did like what Andre and Daniel did with the clocks. I thought that was a cute idea. My
Mm-hmm.
personal favorite though was Emmett and Chloe, because Emmett just freehand painted 2 models in an hour.
I mean, come on. I was very impressed by that. I was like,
Emmett should have gotten a win for this. I
he
really
should
do,
have.
heart of heart. I really do think Emmett and Chloe should have won the challenge.
Okay. I agree. And let me share the screen so you all can see the look. Mm-mm-mm.
But What else was there? The circle sort of situation from Cara and Zulema was fine. Nick and Santino's was boring.
That's the look.
Yeah. It's good.
It's good. It's okay.
It's Banana Republic, and I think Banana
Right.
Republic is just okay. So
Exactly. It was definitely just Banana Republic. It was the jacket was cute, the dress was simple. I like I said, I feel like Daniel is just a blah designer for me in this season, and his looks just show that they're just blah. I don't think they should have won this challenge. I think even with their window displays, I don't
yeah,
think it was the best display. But this was the look.
it's an 80.
I was 70. Nope, 75 because they were better than the other one.
Yeah. So the top two groups are Andre and Daniel, Emmett and Chloe. And as we talked about, Andre and Daniel already won.
I should have been Emmett and Chloe.
Should have been Emmett and Chloe.
I
Definitely.
agree. I agree.
We got Cara and Zulema safe. Yes. And we get Nick and Santino and Marla and Diana in the bottom.
Yeah.
They were not going to send home two
No.
people, 3 challenge wins combined.
Absolutely not.
That was not going to happen at
Absolutely.
this season.
I said this was the only time I did not want Santino to go home because that meant Nick was going with him. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that.
I think this was right. Marlon and Marla and Diana.
Yeah.
Probably deserved that because, it was pretty boring. It was just boring. There was nothing spectacular about it. Nothing. It was just boring.
Yeah. So that's that.
That's that. That's that.
Yeah.
We will be back next week on Make It Work Monday to talk about episodes 7, 8, and 9. And yeah, we just expect some more shenanigans and foolery. The closer we get to Olympus Fashion Week, the more the drama happens. And I think this season was definitely based on drama. So what we need you all to do is first, we want to say thank you for watching. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Go to the YouTube things. You know what to do. You're here on YouTube. Or if you just listen on our Spotify or Apple Music, we say, hey. But do the YouTube things. Push the buttons, not the dislikes, but the likes and the shares. Subscribe to our channel. You can subscribe to this channel on the Cup TV. Or if you want to know more stuff that we do, all of our drag race content is on our other channel, The Cup of Reality. And you can go check us out there. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Cup Pod, because that's where you can follow all of us and get all of the stuff that happens on our funny reels and things, because we're funny people. We have some things that we are funny, and yeah, so check those out. Also, if you just want to follow Logan and myself, follow us on Twitter, because we're cool people. Check us out, and then get your cup merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com, and that cup mug and all of our other cup merch that we have, you can get that, and other things that's on the shop, you can check that out and get that as well. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 In fashion, one day you're in, and the next day you're out. And we are out.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Make it work, designers.